day and age of, fewer buyers inspections being done, we've been doing a lot more of the pre-listing inspections so that people heading up to that point where they put their house on the market, it takes away some of the surprises and anxiety that might pop up during that transaction, and really is a benefit to everybody.
It is.
Welcome to High Trust Professionals, a podcast where we interview top industry and community leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs from across the country. Hear what it takes to build trust, be a respected leader, be productive, and win your day. Sit back and relax as we dive into another episode of High Trust Professionals podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of High Trust Professionals. I am your podcast host, Lynette Arrasmith, and with me today I have my friend Al Stevens, who is the owner of Acuity Home Inspections. Welcome, Al.
Thank you, Lynette.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So fun. Oh my gosh, I was trying to think, and I was talking to Michael this morning, how long ago he's like, how did you meet Al? I'm like, well, networking, of course.
Right.
And how long ago was that?
That would have been like April of last year, I
Yes.
think.
So it's been a little over a year.
Right.
Right? Yeah, which is great. And it's been so fun to watch how you have integrated yourself into the community. So we'll talk about that a little bit. You've done a great job of creating awareness around you and what you do. So I love your story. So I want our audience first to hear about you before you started your home inspection company. So give us just a brief synopsis of Al Stevens.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in upstate New York, and went to college in upstate New York, met my wife to be in upstate New York, and we decided to move across the country to California as I started my career in the livestock sector, managing production facilities and business expansions for the production of animal protein. So that's where I spent the majority of my career. Most of my positions had construction related and project management related responsibilities. So I kind of built upon my interest of systems and structural components of buildings and that kind of thing throughout my career.
Right. That sounds so interesting.
Yeah, it was. It gave me an opportunity to travel all over the world and meet cool people all over the place, and I still have friendships in South America and so forth that I made during that period. So it's really was a great part of my life. And then we've had 3 kids, 3 adult kids. One's in Omaha, one in Greeley, Colorado, one in Durham, North Carolina. 2 granddaughters that are 2 and 1 years old.
Oh my gosh,
we're
fun.
Beginning that trip, and that's fun.
Oh, I love being a grandma. I love it. So we should also back up. That wife to be that you schlepped across the country is your wife.
She is.
So it wasn't like you found a new one.
Nope.
And who I've had the pleasure of meeting.
Yep.
And so that's been a long.
So Chris is a teacher at Gretna Middle School and loves what she does. So, and we moved to Elkhorn about 10 years ago after traversing the country a couple times, and decided that this was a good place to finish my career and her career. And so
I love that.
Then Acuity came along.
That's a fantastic story. Well, before we dive into Acuity, talk to me about, because you've had a long career and you're very humble about what you've accomplished. So what are some of your personal or career related accomplishments that you're most proud of?
I think family is like right up there. To have 3 children who have been successful. They've all graduated from college. They own their own homes. They're financially independent. They have great marriages, and that's you just don't hear that being the majority of the situation, and so I'm proud of having contributed to that, and my wife and I both are pretty proud of that. On the career side, throughout the whole livestock sector involvement I had, a big part of my role was business development and helping small farmers diversify their farming operations and be able to add different revenue streams to their farms. Farming for the small family farmer is tough, has been tough for a lot of years. And so to be able to help them get into a different area and help create an income that would support the next generation coming back to the farm and those kind of things was really gratifying. So I'd say that I enjoy helping people, and that was part of the reason I decided to get into home inspection too, because I know that's a
Right. Because, right. And so, great segue. So, when did you start your business and why a home inspection company?
okay. Well, as I explained, my career and really my personal life, I do all my own home maintenance and that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I really don't like paying people to take care of my house. So I've learned to do it all myself, and my kids have all adopted that as well.
Really?
So I'm
Yeah.
pretty
So,
proud of
they're
that.
handy too.
Pardon?
They're handy also.
They are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So the as I was looking towards the end of my official career and looking at what I was going to do post career, because I couldn't sit around. I don't golf that well. I
Yeah.
don't enjoy it that much. So I knew I had to work. And a friend suggested that with my background, that might be a good opportunity. I had
Hmm.
never thought of it. And as I looked into it, I decided, yeah, I think I could do that.
Hmm.
Um, at the time, and prior to that, I hadn't spent any time at all learning the real estate market. So I
Hmm.
was really out of touch with where that market was in the whole grand scheme of things,
Sure.
with the economy and those kind of things. So the timing wasn't ideal from a
Hmm.
standpoint of
Hmm.
jumping into a housing market that was pretty depressed and difficult, challenging for home inspections. But I'm pretty much a glass half full kind of person and
Yeah.
decided that if I was going to
Yeah.
do it, I was going to make it work. And
And I can
so,
attest to that, glass half full. Absolutely. It was certainly a tough time because inventory was low. And so, gosh, those competitive offers didn't include a home inspection, right?
right.
And so, yeah, that was tough. One of the things, though, that I appreciate about you, and I poked around on your website a little bit, you have found a way to diversify and create some additional services, if you will,
Hmm.
that might help fill in some of those holes.
Yep.
So let's talk about what differentiates you and Acuity.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the main things is that I'm a one man operation. So anybody that hires me to do an inspection, um, once they've worked with me a few times, they know what to expect. They know that it's going to be the same every time and the
Hmm.
same level of detail. And whether it's a $150,000 house or a $2 million house, I put the same amount of effort and emphasis on details and just providing service that people should be able to expect. Um, the do offer several different services that aren't all that common, and most people haven't heard of them, such as a new home warranty inspection to
Hmm.
where I can go in at 11 months in a 12-month warranty situation and do a walkthrough and point out a list of things that they want to make sure their general contractor takes care of before that
Right.
warranty expires.
And so,
Um,
for our audience who might not be in the know, that when you buy a new construction home, you should still get a home inspection
right.
because there are things, way back in the day when I sold real estate, I'll never forget we did a home inspection on for a client on a new construction. And it was something as small, two things that come to mind. One was there was an outlet that had a reverse polarity. Easy to miss, right?
Hmm.
But you wouldn't
Yeah.
know that if someone didn't check.
Right.
And I want to say maybe insulation in the attic.
Yeah. That's a
Um,
common one.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shoot,
Hmm.
got missed. So,
Yep.
that makes perfect sense. And then, of
Yeah.
course, that builder has their 12-month punch list. They'll come back.
Right.
What a great service that
Yep.
you offer. I love that.
Yep. And in this day and age of fewer buyers inspections being done, we've been doing a lot more of the pre-listing inspections so that people heading
Hmm.
up to that point where they put their house on the market, it takes away some of the surprises and anxiety that might pop up during that transaction, and
Hmm.
really is a benefit to everybody to
It is.
consider doing that.
Yeah,
So,
that's actually I put that in my notes because it's
mhm.
not just the whole house inspection. Oh, I bought a house and let's see if
Right.
there's anything I need to know. But preparing your home
Hmm.
to sell
Yep.
is a great way
Yep.
with the pre-listing inspection as well.
Yep.
Okay, what else? Because I know there's some other things you do.
Yep. So I offer a home buyback guarantee. If I do an inspection and within the first 90 days you find something that I missed that would have been a deal breaker that you wouldn't have bought that house,
Oh,
I will actually buy your house back from you for whatever you paid for it. So
And time
That's
out.
not a normal thing you hear about
Oh
in the
my
industry.
goodness. For those that are listening and not watching, imagine the Home Alone kid. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's big. But here's the thing. I know your attention to detail, and so I can't even imagine that that's
Right.
ever happened.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't expect that. It's never happened, and I don't expect it to happen
No.
because I
But I
wouldn't
mean,
miss something
something to
that
be a
big.
deal breaker,
Right.
that would be
It's a
big.
peace of mind thing, and I think that's what it's all about with a home buyer, particularly, especially first time buyers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking, okay, what can go wrong? So
Yes.
that takes away one of those what can go wrong
Yep.
things that they know will be taken care of
Which
one
is
way or the
nice.
other. Another thing I do is I offer a home maintenance manual for all my clients. When they get an inspection, I brought a copy of it here. It's a co-branded with Internachi, who is the certification organization that I have my certification through. And it is a good Bible for coffee table book for anybody that owns a home. Talks about how to take care of it, how the home systems work, and what kind of preventative maintenance you should do, and those kind of things. So I've gotten a ton of good feedback on
Yes.
how beneficial that is to a homeowner. So,
Oh, and this is not a normal. I mean, this is not a normal just handout. I have the pleasure of being in Al's inner circle, and so I might have a copy of one of these. But it's great information. I love
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So let's also touch on other like radon as an example. So
Right.
sometimes part of a home inspection, they want to test the radon levels,
Mhm.
especially in the Midwest.
Yep.
Because of
Mhm.
the contraction and expansion of the ground, cement, etc. I know a little bit about radon, but I'll let you talk about it. So,
Okay.
why would someone want a radon test?
Well, as you mentioned, the Midwest is a hotbed for radon concentrations.
Mm-hmm.
It's the highest level in the country. It goes through this area, and average levels in homes can vary significantly, even within a neighborhood, because the composition of the ground and the amount of uranium that was in the soil when the earth was formed. But so you never know, and the only way to know what kind of radon levels you have is to test for it. Most people don't know that radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S.,
Sure
right
is.
behind smoking. And if you smoke and live in a house with radon, it's the risk level goes way off the charts.
Yeah,
So
that's not a
it's
good
something I
thing.
recommend. It's fairly inexpensive. It's a pretty easy process, and I've done tests for a lot of people who have, especially post-COVID, spending a lot more time in their homes, have
Right.
workout rooms in their basements, have offices in their basements, which is where the highest concentration is.
Mhm.
And we can verify the levels. And if you need to get mitigation, we have a list of referral partners that we can line you up with to get estimates to have that done.
Right.
So,
So, things that our audience should know. The EPA recommended level is 4 or lower, correct?
correct. Yep.
Still, okay. Um, they don't have to need a full home inspection in order for you to do a radon test.
That's
So
correct.
if anyone listening says, "Oh my gosh, that's a great little nugget. I think I should do that,"
Mm-hmm.
I'll let everyone know where to find you,
Okay.
so they can do that. And I agree. I think that you're right. People don't realize that it is the second leading cause of lung cancer,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately and sadly,
Yeah.
behind smoking. People don't smoke. It's bad for you.
Yep.
Anything else that we didn't touch on around menu of services or points of differentiation?
Yeah, I think based on the feedback I've gotten from my clients and a lot of the real estate agents that I work with, one of the things my clients can count on is that I'm not going to come in and with the objective of producing a list of things to scare you off from buying a house.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm an optimistic person by nature, and so I like to, make the list. I'm completely objective, but I feel I can kind of put those in the proper context to just how serious it is, whether I would suggest addressing it sooner rather than later,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. And if I find something that I would suggest should be a deal breaker, I'll let you know.
Sure.
So, but
Or a deal breaker, or maybe something that should get another set of eyes.
sure, right.
Maybe
Yeah.
a professional
Mhm.
roofer or a
Yeah.
professional
HVAC person
HVAC.
mhm.
I always looked at a home inspection as kind of like when you go to the doctor, you go to your general practitioner,
Mhm.
and then they'll let you know if you need a specialist.
Yep. That's a good analogy.
Fair.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you'll let them know, you need someone to really look at this HVAC to look at the true life or the
Mhm.
roof, or even if it's maybe foundational,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Some of those. Yeah. Okay. All
Yep.
right. Cool. That's great. So, you know what? You also need to mention that you'll do inspections on residential and commercial
That's right.
properties.
Yeah, I recently got my certification for commercial property inspection. So,
Yeah.
yeah, any
That's awesome.
style and type and size of commercial property, and that side of things is a little less refined or developed than the home inspection business has been. I've
Mm-hmm.
found.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot
In,
of,
in generally speaking.
generally
Yes.
speaking,
Mm-hmm.
yep. So I'm having to educate some commercial agents and brokers and property managers about what's possible
Oh,
in that service, the value of that service that I offer for that. So I'm really just getting started in that, but it's been
yeah.
interesting so far.
I bet so.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Mhm.
Always looking for that next thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that. Well, we have to, don't we? We
we
have
do.
to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, gosh, you've been a professional for so long, you've been successful. How do you, and as a business owner, no one tells you when you need to get up every day, how you need to prospect, where you need to go to find opportunities. So, give us like one or two habits that help you stay successful. How do you win your day?
Well, I've always been a morning person. So I've never had a problem getting out of bed in the morning. And
Mm-hmm.
when you own your own business, you know that the success or failure of that business is dependent on just one person.
Yeah.
and,
And,
so
and it's the one in the mirror.
that's right. And regardless of my job, who I've worked for or whatever, I've always taken that responsibility seriously, and am very competitive and very focused on success. So that's what keeps me motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Habits, and I do block out times during the week that I designate for networking or phone
Mm-hmm.
calls, or
Mm-hmm.
I am, as you know, active in a lot of networking groups that are a habit for me.
Right.
Doing not only the weekly meetings but the one-to-ones and those
Yeah.
kind of things. Or
Yeah. And
I just
supporting those people, right? Whether it's
exactly. Yep.
an event or a ribbon cutting or whatever the case might be.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? I appreciate that about you. I've watched that. It's, you're involved, but you're not that guy who's out there shoving your business card in everyone's hand.
Mhm.
You're just out,
Mhm.
and you're just you, and you get to know people and they get to know you. And I think that's what certainly has lended to your success.
Yeah, particularly given the fact that pre-January of 2021, which is when I really, or no, 2022, when I first
Mm-hmm.
started my business,
Mm-hmm.
I had virtually no networking in the Omaha metro area.
Yeah.
Everything I had done had been in the country, the rural parts of Nebraska and Iowa and
Yeah.
Kansas and
Getting
those
to
kind
those
of things.
farmers.
So, right. So I
Yeah.
pretty much started from nothing in Omaha, and now I've got a network of, literally hundreds
You
of
do.
people that I know and
Well done.
communicate with. So
Yes. Well done. Okay, so if there were one person that you'd love to spend time with, one person, and it could be someone who's famous, not famous, here, not here, a mentor, or someone you just want to pick their brain over coffee, who would that be?
um boy, that's a tough one.
I know, right?
Um John Muir. I don't know if you're
John
familiar with
Muir.
him.
No, tell me more.
He's instrumental in the formation of the national parks in our country. And so my wife and I have a bucket list of getting to as many of those as we can while we're able to.
I
And
love that.
so he had a vision, and I think that's somebody would be interesting
Interesting
to
to
talk to about how that
Absolutely.
came about.
Wow, that's special.
Mhm.
I'm not surprised. You love to spend time up in Maine.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So what's the biggest piece of advice that you've ever been given?
The most useful advice was from a gentleman that I worked for a good part of my career, and he would say that his adage was, "Things are never as bad as they seem, and things are never as good as they seem." So I think if by abiding by that, it kind of keeps you grounded, and you
Yeah,
don't let it go to your head when things are going really well, but it keeps you optimistic when things are challenging. So
I love that. things are never as bad as they seem, nor are they ever as good as they seem.
Yep.
So that means like, you shouldn't get comfortable,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Like if things are a little on the downside, gotta put your big girl and big boy pants on and get after it.
That's right.
And if things are fantastic, stay grounded, stay
Yep.
humble. I like that. Very good.
Yep.
So if there's one thing that you could go back to your younger self and tell them, what would you say to your younger self? I don't care if it's when you were 10, in your 20s, in your 30s, or after you retired. What's that one thing that you would want your younger self to know?
Don't be afraid to take risks and try things.
Yeah.
I've pretty well done that, but there's been some things that I backed off of and in hindsight wish that I had done that I didn't, that, I never had the opportunity again. So if you
Yeah.
see an opportunity, whether it's to visit a certain place or to, consider another job opportunity or whatever it is, don't be afraid
Don't
to
be
take a
afraid.
risk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think that fear can be so disabling.
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to take the safe road. Okay, we'll take the safe road.
Yeah.
I'm going to be over here having fun doing all kinds of other things,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
you've done, by the way, and
Yeah.
congratulations for that.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, let's see, our listeners can find you at acuityinspect.com,
That's correct.
right?
Yep.
Acuityinspect.com, 402-524-2483.
Yeah.
I also noticed on your website, if someone wanted a consultation or to schedule something, they could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can email you at info@acuityinspect.com.
Yep.
One of the things I loved about your website, by the way, is, so often in business, and I don't think so much anymore, but we're so protective of what we know and what we have. And I love how you say, you know what, I have this awesome manual that I give my clients. And on your website, under it was your blog and news tab, great information. So people, listen up, go to acuityinspect.com, click on that blog and news, really good information that you put there. So well done.
Yep.
Thank you for spending part of your day with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. I enjoy you as a friend and just seeing you out and about. And I love the way that you do your business. All right, gang, that is a wrap this time. Thanks for joining High Trust Professionals. I'm your podcast host, Lynette Arrasmith. Hey, let's connect on social media. Like, follow, share, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and don't forget TikTok. See you next time.